Hello, this will be our sixth video for CMN 3165. Today we were going to talk about women in the media and the economic impacts on society. It is clear that, there's only been, in my opinion, only recent breakthroughs with women in television shows, at least as normal characters rather than really, really sexualized, overpowered characters. Anyways, the article I chose to do is called Women in the Media and Economic Impacts. It's off of mediasmarts.ca, and it argues that the media content is driven by advertising, and in particular, there's a desire to reach only male audiences, ages 18 to 34, which would make a lot of sense of why a lot of shows have highly sexualized female characters, if that's who they're targeting to. A professor at the San Diego State University reports that focusing on female characters tend to be scheduled at lousy time slots, and the television content indicates that the higher the number of female characters and creators of the show are more likely to be moved around and surrounded by other programs that are also not getting high ratings or shares. So even if it was a show that was created by women or wanted to be on at a normal time, at a prime time, you couldn't, it would never get shown because there's just this pre-belief that it shouldn't be allowed, or
yeah, it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough because it was made by a woman or something, which is weird because it's 2017, who knew that was still a thought, but apparently. Producers may also be more inclined to create shows aimed at men and to give key roles to men because that's what they've known based on previous television, in the past. When television was first invented, women's rights weren't totally not even talked about yet, right? So it would make sense that a lot of shows did simply have men, and you'd see that originally, women weren't even allowed in plays, right? Shakespearean plays, men dressed up as women. There's such a heavy belief that women shouldn't be on screen for some reason.
Yeah.
So if we're watching reruns all the time of television shows, and they are all men, we're not. Maybe we should just stop showing reruns, right?
Yeah. There's limited exposure.
Yeah. If that's just feuding the problem, because you're not really growing, but. We did kind of talk about in one of our last videos about how streaming is becoming a big thing, Netflix. So maybe that will move us away from television. Maybe if television is just the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if reruns are the issue, then throw your TV out, guys.
Yeah. I actually looked at an essay called Participation and Access of Women to the Media and its Impact on and Use as an Instrument for the Advancement of Empowerment of Women by Aid Memoir. Countless studies have drawn attention to the series' underrepresentation of women as protagonists and participants in media structures around the world. While there's no necessary or simple relationship between the numbers of women working in media institutions and the type of content that is produced, the fact that women continue to be marginalized in media output raises questions about the values, norms, and priorities of those who direct and control media output and what is becoming increasingly globalized communication system. So again, just basically reflecting on how men are at the top always. Other research has shown that although in many countries women's share of junior and middle level positions within media organizations continues to rise, everywhere the number of women in senior decision making and policy making positions remain extremely small. So again, they're still having to fight really hard to get to the top of the ladder kind of thing.
Well, in my article it says just over 1/4 of the Writers Guild of America, which is the TV and film writers, were only women. So 1/4 of them are women.
Yeah.
I don't understand that,
no,
at all. And
crazy.
If they're only 1/4 of them, think of, not, there's so many little roles, I think, intern roles, and, that 1/4 would just be women that don't get paid. How many of that 1/4 do actually get a paycheck kind of thing?
Yeah, the wage gap is still, really prominent.
Yeah.
Although policy frameworks and strategic targets for the enhancement of women's careers in media have been shown to produce positive results in a number of settings, the increasingly global and commercial three structures of media institutions do not sit easily with the adoption of gender-sensitive measures. However, on the positive side of things, in recent years, many of these groups have become pivotal in the development of media education initiatives and in the launch of critical debate with media practitioners. Interaction and dialogue between gender specialists and media professionals has proven an innovative and often successful strategic approach in the struggle to change and diversify media content. So that's good. Just another key point I came across was traditional boundaries between media are blurred, as are the dividing lines between leisure activities, information, and culture. This development introduces many new concerns, for example, in relation to media freedom, intellectual property rights, and cybercrime, just to name a few, each of which has a gender dimension. But on the other hand, the arrival of digital media technologies provides the means for individuals, small groups, and previously marginalized communities to express their views. So I'm a woman. If I want to make a video saying, hey men, shut up and sit down and post it on the internet, I can do so.
Yeah. Not saying it to anybody specific here.
No.
Was it saying anything specific about why it's like leading to cybercrime, or is that just
it didn't reflect too much on that. It was just kind of touching on like how women, like as a marginalized group, now can like create user generated content. If they're not part of like the major media scene, they can create whatever they want, basically.
Yeah.
Despite being like pushed to the side kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's two different, like, let's say a guy did it, whatever, like guys do it, but if a girl did it, like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that? Like, there's a stereotype, right? So, I've talked a lot about like women in TV shows, but there's like the movie industries also has these stereotypes for you know, like women in roles, and it's targeted a lot. Like the big blockbuster movies are usually like action thrillers, right? With like there's some hot chick and she's like running around after James Bond.
She can do crazy tricks.
Yeah, and she's like, not that she is violent, but like it involves violent, whether that's she gets shot.
Be badass.
Yeah, like it can't just be like it.
Can't be a strong, powerful woman in a business setting.
Well, it can't just be a normal girl. Like
no.
Any like whatever. It has to be a very specific role. And again, that's targeted at men, as like sex and violence has been targeted at men. Like there's that stereotype that guys have to like guns and guys have to like trucks or whatever you want to say, right? So there's another whole section that's being targeted at males. But then at the same, if it's making money, this is the other issue. If that product is making money, the sex and violence, because men are still powerful, like the more powerful sex, in this article that's how it's portrayed, right? Then it won't change. If it's making money, why would you change it? Why would you change that system if it's making money? Because we're like capitalist, money-hungry society. So, like really, all TV and movie systems are saying, you know, violence and sex is okay. Sex is okay, but like sex and violence together, it's okay too, guys. Like that's
we're
fine.
Like conditioned that they go together.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're trying to change it, like you can't change it because you're just proving domestic violence is okay.
Just one other thing I came across is like globally, women are paid less than men, which we know.
Yeah.
Women in most countries earn on average only 60 to 75% of men's wages. So this carries through into the media industry, obviously, too.
Yeah.
There was actually just something I saw recently, the Big Bang Theory cast, because the women on the show, like the main characters, still weren't getting paid as much as the male lead actors. So the male lead actors basically said, fuck that, we're all getting paid the same. Yeah. So they actually lowered their pay, so they were, the women and the men were getting paid the same. Cool. So it was kind of a cool move for them.
Yeah. For like such a big show. Too.
Yeah, for such a mainstream thing.
I mean, I think it's kind of like there's different. Like a few years ago, that Big Bang Theory was like the big show, right? So it is good, especially I think a lot of younger kids watch it. Yeah, like it is kind of not that it's a like a geeky show,
like preteens and
it's very targeted to like. Yeah. If you're a geek, you can have friends. Do like whatever you want to say about that. There's me making stereotypes. Not really, but It's setting a good example, at least. If
Yeah, just as, not as actors, just as people.
Yeah, if we could divide the two.
But that's all I have to say about that.
Yes. So basically, we're still, as much as we want to argue that we've, like, to think of how long ago women got the vote, like, you'd think that you'd think that we would have changed our behavior, like, drastically by this point. And, like, to a point we have, but at the same time we're just money hungry. Like, basically, if we want to argue that domestic violence or female inequality is easily related to lack of, or too much interest in fucking funds, then there you go. That's the impact on the media.
Okay, bye.
Economic system.